From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, May the 22nd, 2023. An IDF soldier was lightly hurt in a car ramming attack last night in the West Bank. The IDF said a vehicle rammed into an IDF soldier during routine IDF activity in the area of Huwara. Another soldier in the area, they noted, fired toward the vehicle, which fled the scene. The soldier was lightly injured and evacuated to a hospital. IDF soldiers are searching the area for the assailants. The U.S. State Department yesterday expressed concern over Israeli National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir's visit earlier in the day to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem's Old City, where he declared, "We are in charge in Jerusalem and in all of the land of Israel." Israel maintains the status quo at the site, which is holy to Jews and Muslims, allowing Jews and other non-Muslims to visit the site during certain hours. But it is a highly sensitive area, and visits by Israeli political leaders are viewed by some as provocative, a word used by the U.S. in its statement from spokesperson Matthew Miller, who said the State Department was concerned by the provocative visit to the Temple Mount, Haram al-Sharif in Jerusalem, and the accompanying inflammatory rhetoric. This holy space, he said, should not be used for political purposes, and we call on all parties to respect its sanctity. Talks being held at Israel's President Isaac Herzog's residence in Jerusalem to reach a compromise agreement on the judicial overhaul reforms are on hold for this week due to a busy legislative agenda in the Knesset. The Times of Israel cites a statement from the president's residence saying that the president's staff will conduct separate intensive meetings with representatives from each side throughout the week instead of the direct talks, and that they will resume next week. No major breakthroughs have been reported in the talks as protests against the judicial reforms continue, now in their 20th week. The most recent this past Saturday in about 150 locations across Israel. Herzog addressed the struggle over the judicial issue as a source of pride for our country, telling the 2023 Herzliya conference today, "If we reach agreements, we can only imagine how it will strengthen the state and how it will allow us to reach another 75 years. Herzog said the talks were an opportunity and that he was optimistic, but that such a process takes time. It's a process, he said, that touches on the root of our functioning as a democratic society that is multicultural, that is also the national home of the Jewish people. Jewish organizations and hundreds of rabbis are calling for the IHRA, the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's working definition of anti-Semitism, to be included in President Joe Biden's plan on combating anti-Semitism. Just under a week ago, for Jewish American Heritage Month, President Biden said the White House would soon release the first ever national strategy to counter anti-Semitism. The JTA reports the Conference of Presidents of major American Jewish organizations sent a letter on Friday to the White House from over 550 rabbis stating, "We believe it is imperative that in its national strategy to combat anti-Semitism, the administration formally embrace the IHRA working definition as the official and only definition used by the United States government, and that it be used as a training and educational tool." A video from the World Jewish Congress and the Anti-Defamation League breaks down some of the definition, which includes the distortion or denial of the Holocaust and denial of the Jewish people's right to self-determination. Also noting that while criticizing Israeli policy is fair game, demonizing the Jewish state or Jewish people is anti-Semitic. Noting also the vast support and countries, states, cities, and organizations that have adopted the definition. The American Zionist movement sent a letter to the White House as well, stressing that the efficacy of the White House's efforts will be diluted if a less accepted alternative version of the definition is included in your strategy. Therefore, it wrote to the president, "We urge that the national strategy to counter anti-Semitism continues your prior commitment to use the IHRA definition to define and fight this form of hatred. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, May the 22nd. At 7, it's the season finale of the hit Israeli series Srugim. At 7:40, it's Israel Unpacked. At 8, Abigail Pogrebin is joined by Iraqi Jewish musician Yoni Battat to talk about Fragments, his new album that explores identity and connection to his Mizrahi roots. At 8:30 on Jewish Cinematheque, Goldman spotlights Cinema Sabaya, which tells of Arab and Jewish women who learn to challenge their preconceived beliefs and come together as mothers, wives, and women through filmmaking. At 9 o'clock, it's Rabbi Mark Angel on L'chaim. At 10, A.J. Jacobs describes what it was like living a year according to biblical laws from the 92nd Street Y. That's followed by a concert from the Andalus Ensemble. And coming up next, it's Good Week, Israel. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, May the 22nd, 2023. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.